So that's the end of today's session. So at this point, I pause, and those of you who have questions may ask. You will be allowed to unmute yourself, and then you can ask the question. I'll just call out. Yeah, Praladanand Prabhu, yes, you can ask.
Pranam Prabhuji. I'm very pleased that you have given us such a beautiful outline, and I'm so encouraged. My one question is about the schedule, because we are in the West, and it actually starts at 10:30 p.m. It goes up to 12 midnight. We have to wake up at least 3 or 4 a.m. like that. But yeah, are the recordings going to be available, Prabhuji?
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes, the recordings of all these courses, I mean, even 10th Canto course, it will go after the sessions are over. In 2 or 3 days, it will go to the YouTube channel that I have. I'm going to put the link also for those recordings, and they will all be put on the YouTube channel so that you can, even if you miss a session, you will be able to hear those sessions. So all the recordings will go on the YouTube channel.
Okay, that's very encouraging, Prabhuji. Another thing was about Sankaracharya Maharaj's, Advaitvad and God. But I, because the first book I read in my life was Bhaj Govindam, and that was my father gave me that at very young age. So his contribution finally came to Upasana Kanda like that.
See, Shankaracharya, primarily, he has done preaching of Upanishads, and in that, especially Mayavad only. But he spoke about worship of Lord and worship of all these other deities, Panchopasana, as a stepping stone to achieve, merging in Brahman. That's how, he presented it. Otherwise, why should he present Panchopasana, right? But he presented it as the process to purify oneself and become qualified to meditate on Nirvishesh Brahma this way. Although within his heart, we know he is Vaishnava, Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. And then as Vaishnavas, we appreciate his stotras such as Bhaja Govindam or Govindashtakam, Jagannathashtakam, Abhilashtakam, so many of them. So we appreciate that, bro. We know his heart also. But the point is that his purpose in giving the Upasana, Panchopasana and all was not exactly that, okay, let them worship and become Vaishnavas. It was more like a stepping stone to come to that level of Nirvishesh Brahma and Dhyana of Nirvishesh Brahma. But he is Shiva, so he is no doubt Vaishnava, no doubt. Right. So as Vaishnavas, we understand his purpose.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Thank you. Mahat Seva, bro.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Danut Pranam.
Prabhuji, my question is this Tantra. Tantra is part of Upasana Kanda or Karma Kanda, Prabhuji?
No, see, by Tantra, what we mean is, if you mean by black, what is black magic and that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah. So see, the worship of the deities, it can be done by three ways, Prabhu: Vaidika, Tantrika, and Pancharatrika. The worship of deity itself can be done in these three ways. So Vaidika worship of deities, it has a lot of focus on mantras. And then Pancharatric worship has a lot of focus on mudras and the aspects like even mantras there also. But the mantras there, they don't have to be like precisely pronounced and all. In Vedic, there has to be a thorough precision in recitation of mantras and all that. So that's how that Upasana is. And finally, coming to Tantra, it is also one of the ways in which you can worship deity, Tantric worship. So there it is a lot of focus on mudras. The actual ingredients or mantras, they take a back seat, but the mudras, they become very, very prominent. So that is, this is how three kinds of worship methods are there to accomplish the same purpose of worshipping a deity, so to say. You can do in these three ways. So as followers of Srimad Bhagavatam, we are followers of Pancharatra system when it comes to deity worship. We don't follow Tantrika or we don't follow Vaidika also. So we follow the Pancharatric worship.
The
Makes
tantric,
sense?
yeah, Prajit. Thank you, Prajit, for detailed explanation. Tantric is part of Upasana or Karmakanda any?
No, so that's what, Prabhu. When you say Tantric, by that we are talking about Upasana only, no? Yeah,
Upasana. Okay,
deity
so it is
worship
part.
only. So
No,
it
because
will be
Upasana, you said Karmakanda portions are also part of deity worship and Upasana Kanda, both. So in that sense, I asked.
Yeah. See, when you talk about Karma Kand, Prabhu, then within Karma Kand, the process is completely Yagya. But when it comes to Upasana Kand, so is Upasana Kand there in the Vedas or not? It is there. It is there, even within the Vedas. But then now the methodology to worship that deity or like that in terms of the Vedika Vidhi. So the prominence will be more on the mantras and all that. It will talk about worship, but it will talk about pronunciation and pronouncing them perfectly. So these days you hardly see also these sort of things so much, they are not seen in all the forms and all, or you may see in bits and pieces something that way. So that's how. So it is all three methods we are talking about Upasana only, but within that Upasana, what is the emphasis? And that is spoken little bit.
And Prajit, Bhagavad Vidhi is not used in deity worship, correct?
Yeah, so
through Smaran or
True. So this is another contribution here, especially that was you can say brought forth very prominently by Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, that you want to worship the Lord, then there is Bhagavat Vidhi and there is also Pancharatrik Vidhi. So Pancharatrik Vidhi is anyway prominently known to everyone. But especially the aspect of worshipping the Lord by Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam, by these three limbs. And then there is further Archanam and all. So, but by these three limbs worshipping him, so that is Bhagavat Vidhi's prominence. So, when you talk about any Vidhi to worship the Lord, it is not that it is devoid of Lord's holy names or singing of Lord's holy names, right? Yajna Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumedasaha, it is said. In Kali Yuga, people worship the Lord Yajanti, they worship the Lord, they worship the deities of the Lord. Yajanti can mean that. But they worship through the Yajna Sankirtana. So they can use any process which is prominently driven by Sankirtana. So deity worship is also driven by Sankirtana. It is consisting of Sankirtana. Yagyas are also consisting of Sankirtana. Like that. We will see that verses from 11th canto only. So Yajna Sankirtana Praya, very beautiful commentaries are there on that. So yeah, Prabhu, Bhagavad Vidhi and Pancharatrik Vidhi both should be combined to worship perfectly the Supreme Lord. So especially in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, that's the point. So we have elements of Archana also, but they gain their, you can say the prominence is of Bhagavad Vidhi primarily. Those Pancharatric elements which are opposite or which may be a little bit conflicting with Bhagavad Vidhi, then they are done away with. You focus on aspects of Archanam which go very well with Bhagavad Vidhi. Like, okay.
Prajit, last one is this Chit Sukhacharya. So Jiva Goswami sometimes refers him generally like in a positive way or refuting.
Chit Sukhacharya is quoted by Jiva Goswami, but he quotes him primarily to tell about this is the rendering of the verse that is accepted by Chit Sukha. So he accepts Chit Sukha as one who is an authentic, commentator on Bhagavatam, in the sense that he says that this is the rendering, this is the word in this verse. So we can take it because he's one of the oldest, no? So his rendition in the Bhagavatam, what word he sees in the Bhagavatam, Jiva Goswami quotes it as an authority. I in my studies, I have not seen him quoting Chitsuk for giving some philosophical conclusion, hardly. He primarily uses Chitsuka's name to show that this is bona fide reading, because Chitsuk is himself saying this is the text. Like that.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Advait Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat pranam. Advaita Krishna Prabhu. You
Yeah.
want to
Hare
ask?
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Jai Shri
Thank you
Prabhupada.
for the wonderful presentation. My question relates to Jiva Goswami not making commentary on the Srimad Bhagavatam out of fidelity.
You
Lord
mean
Chaitanya
Vedanta
Mahaprabhu.
Sutra? Vedanta
Yeah,
Sutra.
yeah. So, but he did make Krama Sandarbha. How do we reconcile that?
No, no.
And then,
Okay. You want to ask
yeah,
something more?
yeah, and then also, how do we see out of the box? Is it big for the commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur? Is it because it is more Rashika Bhasya?
Okay.
Or
Yeah. Thank you, bro. Thank you. I'll answer. See, bro, Jiva Goswami did not write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra, actually. He certainly wrote commentary on Bhagavatam, that is Krama Sandarbha, which is a systematic commentary. And he also wrote thematic commentary, which is 6 Sandarbhas on Bhagavatam. See, what I'm saying is he did not write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra because Mahaprabhu said, well, Vedanta Sutra, you don't need a commentary on it. Why? Why do you not need a commentary? Because Bhagavatam is the natural commentary. Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam. Bhagavatam is the natural commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So why do you need to write another commentary? So now this was a direct instruction to followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, especially Goswamis being direct students of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why none of them wrote a commentary on Vedanta Sutra. But Bhagavatam, which is a commentary on Vedanta, on that Bhagavatam they wrote commentaries. In fact, that's the whole contribution. Jiva Goswami wrote a commentary on Bhagavatam, and through that he showed how this particular scripture is actually explanation of Vedanta. And that is also then in that way exposition of our own Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. So the 3 purposes he is accomplishing by writing 6 Sandarbhas. One is that by writing 6 Sandarbhas, he evaded writing a commentary on Vedanta Sutra directly. Second, he gave the Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. This is what is, when you talk about in scholarly circles, what is Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta? Then they say 6 Sandarbhas of Jiva Goswami, very clearly. And third thing he accomplished by this was that he showed that how Bhagavatam is explanation of Vedanta. It is, see, we don't just say that it is natural commentary. You should also prove it that it is connected to Vedanta, no? So if you study Sandarbhas, within Sandarbhas, I think around 180, 190 sutras of Vedanta are commented in various Sandarbhas. Out of 555 Vedanta sutras, there are total 555, 556 sometimes. 555 Vedanta sutras, Brahma sutras, out of which around 170 have been commented by Jiva Goswami in his Sandarbhas. So literally he had shown also that how Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta that way. So this is how, Prabhu. He did not write a commentary on Vedanta Sutra, but he wrote a commentary on Bhagavatam.
That's very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Bruce.
And the second question, Prabhu, you can remind what was the second question?
Yeah, about Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote out of the box.
What is out of the box?
Yeah.
Thank you. So Vishwanath Chakravarti, when I said he is a little bit out of box thinker, so by this we mean that, see, when it comes to commentary, if you take a text of Bhagavatam, then now certain words of that text, what meaning can come out? So can anyone give any meaning there? Or is it that the meaning should be within certain framework? So usually, whenever somebody is a commentator of Bhagavatam or any other devotional scripture for that matter, so they have to, first of all, there are 3 criteria actually to judge. One is there should not be any Siddhanta Virod. Vaishnava Siddhanta Virod. That it should not be in opposition to Vaishnava Siddhanta, which talks about eternality of Bhakti, Bhakta, Bhagavan, all those aspects. So no Siddhanta Virod. Second, there is no Rasabhas. You don't, do mixing of rasa or just, some very weird thing in terms of rasa. And one of the third very important thing about commentary is also that it is immaculate in terms of the grammar. There is no, Vyakaran or Nirukta dosha there. There is no fault in terms of, you take some word and just give some weird meaning to it, which is grammatically only incorrect, or which is incorrect from the angle of the kosha, of vyutpatti, the etymology, like that. So usually
Is this what
commentators,
is?
yeah,
Yes.
this is how
Is this what
commentators
you?
usually
Yeah.
let me complete. Commentators,
Yeah.
they usually take care of these three things. So now, when you have these three, you have some freedom to play with the words of the text, like that. And so sometimes you see that Vishwanath Chakravarti, he follows Sridhar Swami's meaning as it is, but many times he takes up a completely new meaning where he makes sure that these criteria are taken care, but it's a very devotionally enriching meaning. And as you said, it can have a rasa aspect over there. Many times he does it to invoke rasa in that particular verse. He brings up a very rasic aspect. But sometimes it is also, Prabhu, completely philosophical. It is on tattva aspect only direct. He is bringing out a different meaning, which is giving a different flavor of tattva or different relish of tattva. As we go ahead in our text, I will show this many times. It's not only about rasa, it's also about tattva. And you can see how brilliant meaning he is giving. So that's how he is out of box thinker, bro.
Is this also where you mentioned very interestingly how Jiva Goswami followed all the rules of Panini grammar to explain Sandarbha, so that there is there's a very clear and concise meaning related to the actual content of the verses, right?
Yeah, very true, very true.
Okay. Thank you.
Otherwise, in today's day and time, where Prabhu little bit they learn Sanskrit and then they want to give some meaning. But then you have to see all these other aspects. One may give some sort of meaning. I mean, I'm talking about outside scholars and all many times. But then that is not fitting within the entire framework. It is having Siddhant Virod, it is having Rasabhas, it is sometimes not even grammatically correct. It is grammatically also incorrect. So something like that will not qualify to be called as a commentary or anything. One is just trying to speculate something over there. And this all in addition with, of course, the devotion, love and devotion that one has. One is a devotee of Krishna, not like just some uh, non-devotee trying to give some wrangling of words and meaning. So that's how. So Vishwanath Chakravarti is very extraordinary in that sense. Very insightful meanings he gives.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Okay. Madhavendra Puri Prabhu, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hare Bol, Nandavad Pranam, all
Thank
Ganesh,
you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for your very lucid explanation. I'm a bit confused on the identity of Chitsuk. Is he a Mayavad?
Yeah. Yeah, Prabhu. Traditionally, we see that Chitsukha, and Punyaranya, these two are considered to be the followers of Advaita Sampradaya. So, if you see Srila Jiva Goswami himself, he mentions about Punyaranya in his Tattva Sandarbha. He does not mention about Chitsuk, but he mentions or quotes Chitsuk in his Krama Sandarbha many places, like that. But with other contemporary scholars of Gaudiya Vaishnavism and also confirming from some people who come from impersonal school, Chitsuk is credited or Chitsuk is said to be belonging to the Advaita Sampradaya only. So I have references for this from the contemporary scholars of Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Jiva Goswami I have not seen like that, but especially Chitsuk and Punyaranya's commentaries are seen as commentaries which are coming from the Advaita Sampradaya. Like that. Prabhu, I am not able to hear you. Maybe you got muted or.
Did they live at the time of Shankar or after?
They were after Shankaracharya, Prabhu, because yeah, that's how Shankaracharya did not write any commentary, but because these people, they wrote a commentary. Madhvacharya was worried that see, Shankaracharya has not written anything, but these people have written, so they should not, Vaishnavas should not read these commentaries.
Okay, I understand now. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Omkar Prabhu, you have a question?
Yes, thank you. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the
Dandavat
wonderful
Pranam. Thank you.
presentation, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, I had a question about one answer which you gave. Pancharatras are included within Tantra or are they separate? Because I had heard that there are three ways, like Vaidika, Pauranika, and then Agama, which is Tantra. So do Pancharatras come under the Agama or the Tantra, or are they a separate set?
Yeah. Actually, if you see, these words are little bit interchangeably used also, Prabhu. If you see the whole thing, like Agamas and Puranas and the Tantras, especially when it comes to worship of deities under Tantras and all, they all are put under Pancharatras. All of them, they are used as Pancharatras. Or sometimes even the Nigama and Agama distinction is used. There is Nigama, which is the original 4 Vedas, and then rest of it is Agama. So now under that Agama, you can put all things like Puranas or Pancharatras or Tantras or anything. So I see that that distinction is in different ways that is there. But Pancharatric and Tantrika worship, especially we were talking about worshipping a deity by the method of Tantra or the method of Pancharatra, then that distinction is being made in terms of what is more prominent. The mantras and processes are more prominent, or the rituals are prominent, or the mudras are prominent in that kind of thing. Okay. So personally, when it comes to these distinctions, how I understand is Agama is there, and under that Agama, then you can talk about so many things. You can talk about Pancharatras, you can talk about Smriti Shastras, you can talk about Tantra, books which are called as Tantra. There is then right-hand Tantra, left-hand Tantra, which comes under Puranas, Dakshina Tantra, Vama Tantra, and all that. So it is different from Pancharatrik, surely. But whole thing can go under Agamas. This is how at least I understand.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Vinit Prabhu, you have a question.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I want to know about more about Sandarbhas. You were telling out that Sandarbhas are the 6 most prominent philosophies of like that. So I missed in your English explanation, but can you re-explain about Jiva Goswami's Sandarbhas? What are Sandarbhas basically?
Okay, yeah, they are very vast books on explanation of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhanta. Basically, what I was telling was that 6 Sandarbhas are explanation of Srimad Bhagavatam, and in turn, they are explaining how Srimad Bhagavatam is commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. So there are 6 Sandarbhas. First 4 Sandarbhas deal with Sambandha Tattva. 5th Sandarbha deals with Abhidheya, and 6th deals with Prayojan. So first 4 Sandarbhas are Tattva Sandarbha, then Bhagavad Sandarbha, Paramatma Sandarbha, and Krishna Sandarbha. And these deal with the Sambandha Jnana, Sambandha Tattva. And then 5th Sandarbha is Sandarbha Bhakti Sandarbha. So this Bhakti Sandarbha deals with Abhidheya, and then Priti Sandarbha deals with Prayojan. So that's how these 6 Sandarbhas are discussing Sambandha, Abhidheya, Prayojan in detail. Now, these 6 Sandarbhas can themselves be corresponded with Vedanta. Vedanta has 4 chapters, Char Adhyay. So the first and second Vedanta's Adhyay corresponds to Sambandha Tattva. Third Vedanta's Adhyay corresponds to Abhidheya Tattva. And fourth Adhyay of Vedanta corresponds to Prayojan Tattva. So this is how we can see that the whole explanation of Sandarbhas is not only explanation of Bhagavatam, but it also explanation of Vedanta Sutra. So Prabhu, in turn, these books are like vast, and they discuss, as the topics talk about, Tattva Sandarbha discusses about Bhagavatam is the highest pramana and Bhagavan is the highest truth. That is Tattva Sandarbha. Then Bhagavad Sandarbha discusses about Bhagavan and Brahman. Paramatma Sandarbha discusses about Paramatma feature. Krishna Sandarbha discusses about, okay, within that Bhagavan feature also, Krishna is the topmost personality. General Bhagavan discussion is in Bhagavad Sandarbha, but Krishna being the topmost form of that Bhagavan is discussed in Krishna Sandarbha. Bhakti as the process is discussed in Bhakti Sandarbha, and love of Godhead, Prema, as the goal of life is discussed in Priti Sandarbha. So this is how the themes are there, Prabhu. You can say that in this way, 6 or 7 themes are taken by him, and he is explaining in thematic manner. But because he was not satisfied by only writing in thematic manner, so he also wrote a systematic commentary called Krama Sandarbha. So this is now 7th Sandarbha, you can say. It is apart from those first 6 that I mentioned. This is 7th one, which is text by text commentary. So that is what is 6 Sandarbhas. This 6 Sandarbhas, don't confuse it with 6 philosophies, which is different. They are Shad Darshanas. These are Nyaya, Vaisheshika, then Purva Mimamsa, Uttar Mimamsa, Yoga, and Sankhya. So those are different. They are 6 Vedic philosophical conclusions, which are talked about by various philosophers. While Shat Sandarbhas or 6 Sandarbhas are exposition of Gaudiya Vaishnava Siddhant done by Jiva Goswami. That.
Okay.
Right,
thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yes. Navala Sundari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thanks for such a nice beginning, such an awesome beginning, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Some of my questions are answered. I have a very small question. One is this: how many Vedanta sutras you were saying? 556.
555, 556. Depends on counting. You can say 555.
And another one is, Prabhuji, very like, it's a query that when we do the Havans, and this is all Karm Kand. So here they establish a kalash and say this is Vishnu and this is this. So what is that? That is deity worship or not?
Yeah, actually that is Yajna Vidhi. When you see, worshipping by inviting a deity in Kalasha and all that. No? So that's exactly the Vaidika Vidhi, what we call about.
Yeah, they make betel nut and say this is ancient. Okay.
True.
So,
So in Vedic system, that's how the deities, especially in Karmakand section, the deities are worshipped like that. They will, like a yagya, there will not be any deity installation in yagya and all. I'm saying typically Karmakand Vidhi. So they don't have that kind of system. They will invite the deities in kalashas, and that's how they will worship. The whole process is primarily yagya vidhi, that way. So what we see today may be combination of some Upasana Kand and some Karma Kand, because we may see Pancharatric worship also of the deity, and we may see some kind of yagya also being performed. So combination of these things are there. Even in our Pancharatric Upasana that we do as worshippers of Krishna, so we can see that there is Pancharatri involved there, and there is also chanting of Vaidika mantras, right? There are suktas and all being recited, and there is also chanting of holy names being done. So it's a combination of Vaidika and Pancharatrika and Bhagavat Vidhi. So you may see sort of all sorts of combinations.
And another very small question is this, that people worship Shivling. So what is that? That is deity worship, or what is that? Worshipping of Shivling.
See, by deity, now deity is English word, right? No. So if by deity we accept something as representation of that particular lord or form of demigod or anyone else, so then any worship of a symbol or pratika can be considered as a deity worship. But when we talk about archa vigraha, so archa vigraha has a certain requirements, right? Archa vigraha, when we talk about, so then that archa vigraha, and there is the form of the Lord based on the Shastra, and that form is worshipped in a particular way, like that. So that's why there, in case of Shiva Lingam, which is a bona fide worship, it is said linga, and the word is linga only, lingopasana. So linga is itself, the meaning of that word is, like a symbol or like a form. So it's a form, but that form is an authorized form of worshipping Lord Shiva. So there are various stories on Shiva Lingam, that basically it is a representation of Lord Shiva and Parvati on that point. But it's a bona fide worship, and we understand that we call it, the word itself is actually lingam. You worship the linga or pinda. These are the names there. When you talk about archa, then you mean the form which is, which that's how the Shastra describes the actual form of that particular deity. So then it is archa vigraha upasana, like that. That way. So it's a bona fide worship, certainly, but it is, you can see it because it is not exactly the form of Lord Shiva. So we will call it as linga. It's a pratik. It's kind of symbol to worship Lord Shiva. Although we understand it is not different from Lord Shiva, but still it is not considered like archa. Archa is where the person looks like that, 2 hands and legs and like that man.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you, Devashri Bhakti. Thank you.
Thank you.
I humble
Chakrapani Prabhu. Chakrapani Prabhu, you have a question?
That was Pranam Prabhu. Very nice to hear from you. Prabhu, we know that Bhagavatam is also a sort of bhashya to Gayatri bhashya rupa. So now I had a couple of days ago, I had a discussion with one devotee. So he was mentioning that, so Bhagavatam itself is a Gayatri invocation. So I was trying to tell him that it's explanation of Gayatri. What's the difference between the two? Is it Gayatri itself or it's explanation of Gayatri? How do we see the distinction?
See, Garuda Purana's verse is directly saying Artha, isn't it? Arthoyam Brahma Sutranam Bharatarth Vinirnaya Gayatri Bhashya, it is said directly. So if you want the reference, that's the reference. Gayatri Bhashya Rupo Sau. Asau Gayatri Bhashya Rupa. Asau Grantha Gayatri Bhashya Rupa. So it is basically an embodiment of Gayatri Bhashya. It is an embodiment of a commentary on Gayatri, that way. So the Gayatri mantra itself is considered because it's the root mantra, and it has the aspect of pranava in it. So in a way, the entire scriptures is only considered to be explanation of Gayatri, especially any scripture which is like Bhagavatam, which is talking about the all the aspects of Jeev, Jagat, Jagdish, all the truths. So it is considered in a way, it's like a commentary on Gayatri. So then what to speak of Bhagavatam? Because Bhagavatam, in turn, it is explaining, Jiva Goswami in Paramatma Sandarbha, he's explaining this term Gayatri Bhashya Rupa. And then literally, Prabhu, he had shown that how the first verse itself is explanation of Gayatri. He takes the words of Gayatri like Bhur, Bhuva, Svaha or Varenyam, and he shows the connection to Bhagavatam's that first verses various elements like that. Yeah.
So which
It is an
Sandarbha?
explanation of Gayatri. This is in Paramatma Sandarbha.
Okay.
The Anuched may be around 104 or so, you can check.
Okay.
So he takes directly vis-a-vis Gayatri Mantra vis-a-vis first verse of Bhagavatam and shows that it is an explanation of Gayatri straight away.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Ashish Prabhu.
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी.
Hare Krishna.
प्रभु जी आज शरद पूर्णिमा है, उस पे कुछ.
Hare Krishna. No, I mean, all of you, I spoke in the beginning about this is the day when Krishna performed his most wonderful Rasa Leela with the gopis, with Srimati Radharani. And it is considered to be the manifestation of highest rasa of Sri Krishna. Who are the most exalted devotees? What is the most exalted rasa? What are the most exalted emotions? Everything is seen in this Rasa Leela. So as Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we worship and revere this pastime. So in today's, I mean, especially in the evenings, I think the temples will have special darshana, and also there may be some discussion on Shri Krishna's this particular Leela. So whole 10th canto's course we are going to do, especially on this aspect of Krishna Leela as it is spoken by 10th canto Prabhu. So we will also that time see in great details all this Ras Panchadhyayi and everything. Yeah, but yeah, for today I will suffice with that much that it is a Leela which we all as followers of Gaudiya Vaishnavism very much appreciate and revere. So, you can take out some time to hear about this during daytime and also relish the wonderful darshan of Sharad Purnima. Yes.
Any prayers for today, special prayers for today?
Best is, I mean, in Vrindavan and all these places, I remember Gopi Geet is sung very happily. Many Vaishnavas, they sing the Gopi Gita because it is naturally connected to Rasa Leela. So Gopi Gita can be recited, and we can pray for the mercy of the gopis, that we can also develop a drop of love for Shri Krishna. Yes. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Finally, Vaibhav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam. Prabhuji, my question was, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from Swami Keshav Bharati, who belonged to Shankaracharya's sampradaya. Then why did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas from someone who is following Advaita philosophy, and why not someone who is Vaishnava? So that was the question.
Yeah, see, those days and time, Prabhu, the sannyas from, especially in North India, the sannyas from Advaita Sampradaya was very much respected, valued. That particular era in which Mahaprabhu was there, we see that especially in South India, the tradition of Vaishnava sannyasis from Madhva line or from Sri Sampradaya line, they were prominently there. But especially in north side, in the region of, even in Puri and Varanasi and all these places, the Advaita Sampradaya sannyasis were very, very prominent. So anyone who takes sannyas in that sampradaya, that was respected by even the common people. All of them, even the scholars would respect, and the common people also respected. And it was not also so much like a rigid thing that, okay, if you take sannyas in this sampradaya, then you are follower of that sampradaya's philosophy. No, oftentimes it would be like you take sannyas in Advaita Sampradaya, but you are following Vaishnavism only. It was also like that. Even now it is like that. There are certain institutions where you can go and ask sannyas, although they are Advaiti, but they don't mind if you follow devotional service as a process, bhakti as the process. Even now it is there. So the point is that seeing the social situation, because that particular sampradaya was prominent, it was available, easily available. So that's why Mahaprabhu accepted from Keshav Bharati, like that. So he could have, he's independent Lord, he could have done it in any way also. But then, yeah, he just went by the social norm. But of course, then he took from Bharati Sampradaya. So, Sarvam Bhattacharya was feeling that, oh, why did he take from within Advait line also? Why from Bharati? Why not from Saraswati, which are considered to be the topmost among those Advait Sampradaya sannyasis? Saraswati, Bharati, Parvata, Giri, all these various sampradayas are there. But within that, Saraswati is considered highest. So he wanted to sort of give Mahaprabhu again sannyas in Saraswati line. But so then Gopinath Acharya, he was not happy with this. So he said that he is Supreme Lord. Chaitanya is Supreme Lord. What are you talking about? This lower and higher sampradaya. He doesn't need also anything. So it was more like a social norm, Prabhu, like Mahaprabhu followed some social norms, just so that it is free from social considerations and obligations, right? Like even in case of Haridas Thakur, we see that Mahaprabhu, he had such an influence that he could have taken Haridas Thakur in the Jagannath temple inside. Although Haridas Thakur apparently is born in Yavana family, Mahaprabhu was practically the whole king and kingdom was under him. But he did not do anything like that. He respected the social customs and kept it free from controversy. So similarly, Advait Sannyasa, although he is Supreme Lord himself, is more like a social matter than accepting their philosophy or anything. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. So I think those are the questions, right? I did not get the chance to see the chat. I think there are no questions in the chat. Okay, I would say that you can ask questions directly, and if we are ready to extend, but you can ask directly. And for those who want to leave when the class is over, you are free to leave. I'm sorry that I forgot to announce that in the beginning. Yeah, but basically once the session is over, and if you don't want to stay for question answers, you can certainly leave, no problem. Once my speaking is over, anyone can leave from the session. Hare Krishna. Thank you. Jayan Prabhu,
Hare
you want
Krishna,
to ask?
Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Mataji, Jayan Prabhu can ask, and then you can ask Sitarupa Vishnupriya Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, if in the Pancharat, I mean the 5 deities that Shankaracharya established, if one of the group is worshipping Vishnu, so why did they eventually not land up in coming to pure bhakti? Because they are worshipping Vishnu.
Yeah, Prabhu, they are worshipping Vishnu, but the understanding there in worshipping all those deities, no, is the issue. All these deities are seen as the pratika, as the symbol of Nirvishesh Brahma or Nirguna Brahma. And then by worshipping that deity, Shankaracharya's system says that one will get eventually purified and become qualified to meditate on Nirvishesh Brahma. So, although the deity worship is there, that deity is considered to be just a temporary or some intermediate kind of worship. You don't accept it as archa and that form as the eternal form of the Lord. So, in fact, what to speak of, getting purified by that kind of worship? One is, it's very offensive actually to think like that, and to think that Krishna's form is Maya, and to think that the deity form of Sri Krishna is also temporary solution, temporary step which I should cross and then merge into Brahman, because Krishna's form is Maya. So that kind of system they have, Prabhu. And they think about this in the same manner about other deities also. It's not so much At least I'm saying whoever is Shankaracharya's follower of Panchopasana. Nowadays, it's all hodgepodge. Maybe they are worshipping, but then they only don't know what is the understanding. But if you see, with the system that Shankaracharya gave, so there, the whole thing is that the deities are actually worshippers of deities are like Saguna Brahma, and they are symbols of that Nirvishesh Brahma. And once one worships and becomes situated in Sattva Guna, then one no longer needs to worship. In that Sattva Guna, then one can just focus on Nirguna Brahma or Nirvishesh Brahma. So that mentality is quite offensive actually. If they would have worshipped Krishna or Vishnu, no, without that offensive mentality, even when you don't know about Krishna's glory much, that is still okay. Somebody may worship Krishna and he may not know much about Krishna's glory and all. He is worshipping only because his family is worshipping. Something like that. But then if you have an idea only where you feel like, okay, I worship the deity and then I transcend the deity. So I worship only till the time I have to become purified. After that, I don't need to worship because this is temporary. Because Krishna's form is Maya, deity form is Maya. That's all. So that idea is very offensive. So instead of getting purified, they basically degrade. So that's why Krishna, to such worshippers, he gives, because they consider Krishna's body as Maya, so Krishna also gives them the body which is of Maya, which is made up of Maya Shakti. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that these personalities typically, they are offenders to Krishna, so they themselves enter repeated birth and death. They get the body which is made up of Maya, which means material energy. Ye yatamam prapadyante. That's how Vishwanath Chakravarti explains ye yatamam prapadyante. If you consider Krishna to be form made of Maya, Krishna will give you a form made up of Maya. If you think Krishna is Satchidananda, then he will give you a form which is Satchidananda. So that is very interesting explanation that he gives. So the mentality will matter, bro. Ignorance is one thing, but misunderstanding is deadly. One should not misunderstand Krishna. That's the point.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Sitarupa Vishnupriya Mataji, you have
Yeah, Hare Krishna Prabhu, pranams. Wonderful
Pranams.
class. I actually had a doubt regarding the thing is, Shankaracharya had written Bhaja Govindam almost at the end of his lifespan. And then he has written Gita Mahatmya Shloka where it says Krishna is the Supreme Lord. His mantra is to be chanted. And Gita is only the thing which has to, it's an Upanishad, it has to be written. But his followers, why don't they claim saying that, they claim saying that all gods are same, all are same. And this I came across because my parents are through the Sankara philosophy. So all gods are same. You can pray anybody, whomever you like. That is what has come to us. Maybe in between it has been filtered or adulterated, I don't know. But
yeah, sure. So see, the point is, Mataji, Shankaracharya wrote a lot of stotras where he has glorified a lot of deities, including Krishna. Obviously, Krishna also, Bhaja Govindam, or many others, Jagannathashtakam also, Bal Mukundashtakam, Govindashtakam, and many of them. So now, if you see the works that he has written, which are scriptural expansion like commentaries or bhashyas, and if you compare the stotras, so what is more elaborate and extensive, exhaustive is his bhashyas. Upanishad bhashyas, he wrote on principal Upanishads commentaries. He wrote commentary on also Vedanta Sutra, also commentary on Bhagavad Gita, Vishnu Sahasranama. So Shruti Smriti Nyaya, he wrote his bhashyas on all these. Shruti meaning the Upanishads, Smriti meaning the Vishnu Sahasranam and Bhagavad Gita, and Nyaya means the Vedanta Sutra. So that is seen as a very exhaustive explanation of Shastra by him. So although he wrote these stotras and all that, the followers of Shankaracharya take it to mean like he's basically just encouraging devotees. If you see his explanation of Shastra, he's not at all recommending any of those things. So these stotras are seen as more like encouragement for devotees that okay, they can worship, and eventually if they are purified, then they will come to the conclusion which is given in the Vedanta Bhashya and all. So this is their assumption, where they feel like Shankaracharya wrote something for simple people, these stotras and all that, so that they can continue to worship in the Dvaita understanding. But those who are learned, for them he gave Advaita, and he gave the philosophy of all this Shruti Smriti Nyaya. And there he is quite emphatic in terms of Mayavad Siddhanta. So if you go by his books, even an outsider, anybody who is even a third party, they will see that, well, his philosophy is Mayavad only, because it's very exhaustive. Stotras are very few, and that too, he's written for so many. He writes on Ganesha also, Kanakdhara also, Lakshmiji also, Durga also, everyone he glorifies. So that's how we see that it's difficult for their followers to convince.
So particularly there is nothing which directly shows the path to the Supreme Lord. That is the reason the followers have not gone into that path. Yes?
Yeah, because he did not preach only, no, Mayavad. See, Mataji, he is preached Mayavad only. So followers are they are not misled. Because they are not misled means what he preached, that's what they are understanding. He preached impersonalism. That's it. It's not like he preached devotional service, no. So that's why it is not prominent. And he glorified Krishna, that is agreed, and we accept it also, that it is glorification of Krishna. But the point is, was that the mission of Shankaracharya? No. His mission was establishing Vedas, and on that basis of Vedas, establishing the philosophy of Mayavad. So he succeeded in that, and his followers also take that point only. So if we try to just take some stotra and say that, okay, Shankaracharya meant bhakti should be followed, although we accept that it is true, but they will not take it in that way. No, they will say, no, you read his Bhagavad Gita Bhashya, see what he is saying. You read his Upanishad Bhashya, see what is he saying. Read his whatever, the other things, Vedanta Sutra Bhashya. So everywhere. He writes Advaita Siddhanta only. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Prabhu, the question I had mentioned in the chat, is it 1.5 hour class or a 2 hour class, Prabhu?
It is 1.5 hours class.
Okay,
so
fine.
typically, yeah, from tomorrow, typically when I start on time, then I will go about 1 hour, and then half an hour I take questions.
Okay. And Prabhu, your YouTube link, how do we get it? We'll get it in the group?
I'll post it in the group. Yes.
Yeah, because your channel, we don't, we have not access till now.
It's
Okay,
yeah, true.
thank
It's
you.
in fact, my channel is also getting launched with these courses only. So, basically the channel content also, you will see that it is getting uploaded, these classes primarily. And there are some prior classes I gave also. So that's how before you must not have heard also about my YouTube channel, because it's getting launched right now.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Hare Krishna.
Okay, finally, Anand Manjari Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. Though it was a repetition, but like Kaliyug Buddhi, so it was again, refreshing and it was very, the concepts are very vivid this time. So thank you so much. So Prabhuji, I was just asking about Shankaracharya's. You mentioned Mahavakya and Laghu Vakya. So I think Mahavakya are those which substantiate the Mayavad philosophy, and Laghu Vakya are which substantiate other philosophy, Vaishnava philosophy.
Very true. Yeah, Advaita, whichever is talking about oneness, that is Mahavakya. And Dvaita, difference between Lord and Jiva, bhakti and all such statements, they are considered Laghu Vakyas or Samanya Vakyas. Like.
Okay, only that much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
So, yeah, so I'm very thankful to all of you for joining. And from tomorrow, we begin the study of 11th canto, first chapter. So thank you for your patient listening and also staying back for question answers. Hare Krishna. So see you tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuranam ki jai. Samastacharya Vrinda ki jai.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva
Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.